Welcome back to yet another Game Club of the Year ranking episode. You might be
I'm
asking
turning
me,
into dust as we
yeah,
go, by the way.
you
I'm
might be
just
asking
saying.
me, Boston, where is the Game Club ranking episode? And I'll say I never heard of her. It's always been called Game Club of the Year. Moon Pier didn't just come up with that incredibly clever title that I can't believe we haven't been using for like the last 5 years. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moon Pier
Howdy.
and Musum.
Switch. Oh, wait.
right. Good note here. This is not our normal episode. This is our sort of December year-end wrap-up thing. We take the month off from playing a game here, and we're gonna go through. And because I have a problem, I've roped all my friends into it. We're gonna rank all of the games that we have played this year. If this is the first one you've been joining us on, we're gonna go through chronological order. Kind of try and put these last 11 games in some sort of ranking, and hopefully not have any sort of blood feuds over it. So let's get started. At the very beginning, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Say what you want to say to the fans.
If you're watching the video version here, on the right-hand side of the page, this very large green panel is our giant whiteboard of things we're going to be ranking. If you're listening to the audio version, we're going to sort of be recapping it. I'll sort of be recapping it as we go, so hopefully you won't get too lost. Yes, Moon.
Okay. Quick editorial note to start. Can we just jump straight to March and say that that's number 10, please, or number 11?
We'll get there. We'll get there very quickly. Don't worry. It's only March. All right. Let's start with January. Metro 2033. Put that right here in the list. Next up is Late Shift. This is the Wales Interactive car driving heist FMV
Mathematics.
game. Yes.
Yeah. Maths.
Better or worse than Metro 2033?
Oh, better.
Yes.
Ditto. But with a bullet.
I enjoyed Late Shift so much.
Bard's Tale 2004.
Stick it right at the bottom, baby.
Bottom
right
of
at
the
the
list.
bottom.
Right there at the bottom.
I think we can all agree that is probably going to be
There's definitely one or two I dislike more.
It has competition this year. Like it's no
Okay,
Tokyo 42.
okay.
Let's put it that way.
Like this list is surprisingly like the ones I don't like on this list, I really don't like them.
Yeah, it's very much a hot and cold list where it's like, that game is great. Next one, go to hell. Like it's yeah. Speaking of this whiplash we have here, Life is Strange 2.
So I know I'm going to be more positive on this one than you guys are.
No, that thing goes straight to the top, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm that for me as well. That's straight to the
Don't get me
list
wrong.
here.
Life is Strange is a chore to play through, but not in the fact that it's a bad game to play, just in the fact that it kills me as a human and a person with feelings.
Every 5 minutes it kicks you in the giblets and it's just like, all right, let's keep going. It's like, nope. Please,
I
no.
mean, 2 is especially depressing because they were like, look at this real world thing that's a problem constantly in it.
Yeah. Signs of the Sojourner. That's a tough
don't remember this one.
It's a card-based
road
conversation
trip journey with the conversations, playing cards. You have to make the chains. This one goes below Metro for me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. I'm not gonna fight that one. I think that one for me, I don't like Metro that much. I didn't like Metro at all. And Signs of the Sojourner is like very much my BS. But I think good.
I think the reason why Metro goes a little bit higher for me is because Metro's so old, dude. Like it's so old.
Sure.
Whereas Signs not so much.
Yeah.
I don't feel super strongly about either of them. Signs, I remember having no clue what the game wanted me to do or say most of the time. Like, it was very unspelled out to me, whereas Metro 2033 was kind of just this ancient first-person shooter business.
Very much of its era.
Yeah, I liked the city parts in it, but that's about it, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Coffee Talk. is our next one here.
Definitely like it better than the bottom three, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think the argument to be made here is, does it go above or below Late Shift?
Below for me. Like, that's an easy choice. I think Coffee Talk is really great, and I think for me, Late Shift kind of fully takes advantage of its medium and its concept. I think it has. I am an FMV game that kind of winks and nods a little bit, and we managed to rent some cool fast cars. We're making an ice thing. And Coffee Talk.
Did they rent it, or did they just get permission to use them by the manufacturers?
yeah, maybe. Coffee Talk for me is a really, really solid game that I feel like gets 9/10 of the way there, but I think it was my criticism at the time where it's like, I really like Coffee Talk. I just wish there was a little bit more of it with like almost every character. I wanted to spend a little bit more time with everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. So for you, Late Shift is the sprinter that's made it all the way to the line, and Coffee Talk is the marathon runner who falls at the last bend.
Pretty much, yeah. It gets so close and just hits its face on the concrete.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm almost tempted to use these Skype React buttons as you guys make points.
I've done that before, dude. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Moon every once in a while will be like, "That I think it's a penguin from me." It's like, what? Why?
Because
boy,
it's ridiculous. Like, here you go. Let me show you what it looks like, Musum. Have a birthday cake.
Oh,
there
God. Oh, wow.
Because why not?
It showed up on the screen. Oh, boy. Okay. Next game here, Tiny Metal. This one's tough.
I know I like this one a little bit more than you guys. I never went back and finished it, though. So, like, for me, it would land above Metro and probably below Coffee Talk.
Yeah, honestly, that's where I was thinking, too, because this is... It does so much right, but so much wrong at the same time. Like, there's a bunch of... Like, it learned a lot from the Advance Wars series. There's a bunch of quality of life improvements in there. But at the same time, it's just... It feels a little bit off in some spaces.
I just remembered the mission that made me stop playing the game, which was like 11 or 12. And it was one of those, you have to live with this giant army we give you at the first. Most of this level. And I severely dislike those. So I could probably be talked into below to lower.
No, were you saying between Coffee Talk and Metro? Number 4 there? I would agree with that, I think, because I think Tiny Metal tries some stuff, and I think I like that it swings for the fences, and it doesn't always make it, but I think they came up with something cool that really didn't click with me, but it's one of those games where it's like, all right, I'm kind of interested to try the sequel, because maybe you cracked the code on the second one.
Yeah, and the sequel's also like half the price of the original.
Which is also a bonus. Yeah. All right, I put that at number 4 here, because I feel like that's probably a good spot here for us. Astroneer, the big one from this year.
Who wants to fight? Come on. Who wants to fight?
This is tough, honestly. Like, I feel like this one and the one after this, like, any of those
these are
top
fighting
place
times
for me.
now.
I'll just throw it out here. I think Astroneer's number 2.
Okay, so you think it goes below Life?
Yeah, I could be talked into number 1, maybe. If someone wants to.
There is no conversation. This goes to number 1, or I get in my car right now and I see you tomorrow.
What's your? I guess let's turn the floor over to the representative from New York.
Okay. I think you'll find I'm the English representative residing in New York. Thank you very much. Honestly, because we do a lot of indie games for this show. We talked about on last month's episode how small teams can do questionable things, but then you can also have small teams to do incredible things. Astroneer is still getting updates to this day, putting more content into it. Like, I love Astroneer when I played it, which was like 4 years ago.
It had like 5% of the content.
The difference between now and this year is staggering.
Yeah.
It's so much more now than it even was then, and at the time that was pretty close to being like top of my actual game of the year lists when I played it, because it's beautiful, the music is incredible, it's the story behind it is heartbreaking, and it just makes it that much better for me knowing the background of the devs who made that game.
Yeah. Like, was that a no-clip documentary for this one?
It was, yes.
Yeah, go watch that. That one is... all of No-Clip's documentaries are great. This one is especially really good.
Yeah, and it's especially real as well, just to make things even more fun. Honestly, like... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just... If you still have more point to make, then go ahead. I was just going to comment that I'm kind of a fence sitter in a way on this one, just because, like, I love all the Life is Strange games. I love Life is Strange 2. That is somewhere in, like, in terms of a franchise of games that are all amazing, like, it's probably my bottom one in terms of
for sure.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
and part of that is because it's so heartbreaking, and that may be giving Astroneer a one up on it, just because, like, just even talking about Astroneer makes me go like, maybe I should go play that and see what else I can build in there. Like,
that's a good point.
Yeah,
I adore Life is Strange 2. But a lot of the times when I play games, I don't play games because I want to be reminded about how crap the real world is, especially over the past 3 to 4 years.
Right.
Like, I don't. Like, I want to get in my spaceship, I want to shoot down that other ship, and then kidnap all of the people in Cryo, and then sell them on in the next space station that I come across that will allow such things.
You know, I think
they're indentured servants. That's it. That's what they are, indentured servants.
I think Musim, you brought up a good point that I think pushed this into the #1 spot for me, is that Life is Strange 2 is inconsistent. There are some parts of it that are really great. There are some parts of it that are either controlled poorly or just kind of a snooze. Especially, like, I really didn't click with, like, that whole pot farm chapter as a whole. I thought that was kind of a weak point in the game. Astroneer is incredibly consistent all the way through, and everything it unlocks either makes your life way easier in a way where it's like, oh, thank God I have, okay, cool. Now I can make X, Y, and Z really easily. I just need to expand my base, which is fun in and of itself. Or they give you automation, or they're like, yeah, man, do you want to go to another planet? Then you can do that. You can go to a bunch of other planets. So I think not only is it more consistent, but I think with each time it kind of ratchets the wrench, it improves the experience overall. And to be clear, I didn't come anywhere close to finishing it because the game is just monstrously huge.
It really is.
So based on Moon's experience with it, it sounds like it doesn't fall on its face at any point where it's like, oh, I played for 120 hours, and then all of a sudden it's like a first-person shooter survival game. You know, it's like it doesn't do anything like that.
Like,
but
the biggest problem that Astroneer had, which is the same problem that other certain games have for me, which is they are too good. I play it too much, too quickly, and then I burn myself out on it. Like,
right.
I did it with Stardew Valley, I did it with Astroneer, I did it with Monster Hunter World. Like, I will put 70 to 100 hours into the game in like a week, and then be like, for like 2 months straight, and then just be like, I kind of had enough of that, and then forget all about it until 5 years down the line.
Right.
And when somebody literally says Astroneer, it's like, I should play that again.
Yeah, you fill up on bread during the appetizer, and then, you know, you don't want to play it for when the 1.0 comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And to be honest, it's one of those things where, like, I hope that, like, maybe in a year and a half, whatever, as long as, you know, the world hasn't turned into an apocalypse by that point, somebody casually mentions Astroneer, and then you guys will be like, that was pretty good.
The sleeper cell gets activated. Astroneer.
Give that a shot.
Let me open up the Game Pass app. Hold on. Yeah.
But then that's the best thing is, like, if you guys have the same experience I did, who knows what a year and a half of updates are going to bring to that game.
Oh,
like,
I can't even imagine. Like, it'd be like, hey, by the way,
they didn't have the compass at your feet, so you got lost on planets. I literally spent 26 hours wandering around a planet trying to find my way home.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them. Like, I'm waiting for the like No Man's Sky update to come out for this game. Where it's like, by the way, now there's a whole galaxy to explore. And it's like, oh god, no. Okay, hold on, I'm in trouble.
And it's funny too, because like I know you can leave the first planet, but like every time I hear you guys talk about it, I'm like, man, why would I ever want to do that? I'm having so much fun.
That's more of a base is.
Yeah,
yeah. I've got automation.
Weird underground crap, and like it was really fulfilling to accidentally fall down a hole and like be trapped in the dark and have to kind of MacGyver my way out of it, you know?
Right.
Like,
I have a clip somewhere on one of my many hard drives of me. I think it was me with Rob. The different size vehicles you can get. There's the very large one, and I put 2 drills on the front of it to make it a huge, basically big drill thing, so I could just tunnel my way through mountains. And it's just me going at a 45-degree angle straight through the core to the core of the planet, essentially, which is one of the things you have to do. Is you have to get to every core, going straight down, and then just not thinking and going slowly, and just going straight into like this huge cave with all these
like
bioluminescent mushrooms and everything. And it's like a scene from The Core, the movie, The Core, which nobody else has seen except for me. But then I'm falling through the space, and I'm just going to turn on my drill and hope for the best, and then literally landing on the other side, and then just continuing to drill a hole and just keep on going. Like, this car is never getting back up there. Never. I have to build a land bridge to get back up there, but it's just like that cool moment of, ooh, look at all how pretty this. Keep drilling.
Right. So it sounds like this is number 1?
Yeah, I would say so.
All right. Boy, we have another tough one here. Boyfriend Dungeon.
This is where the knives are coming out, because this is my number 1. But I understand that this probably is not your number 1, I'm guessing, Moon?
For me, honestly, this one, if it was personal choice subjectively or objective, subjectively, this probably goes number 4 for me.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Because Late Shift was the game that got me into the Wales interactive stuff. Late Shift was the one where I was like, crap, FMV games can be something really special.
Right, like, people can make good ones.
Yeah, I consider my only experience with that with the horrible ones that Vinny plays, like, that could tell you the difference. Life is Strange 2, again, it's one of those series that speaks to me. However, in a Game Club list, I am perfectly happy for this to sit at number 2. And the only reason that I will fight it down to number 2 is because 3 Dungeons is BS.
It is small, but the thing, like, Boyfriend Dungeon, like, does 2 things simultaneously that really, really impresses me a lot with its story. One, it gives you, like, a purely somehow we'll say a 75% purely positive environment. And then like the other 25% is this, hey, here's some maybe toxic male dating behavior in real life that maybe people shouldn't do. And I think it showcases it in a way that no other games have, and that is, I feel like, instructive. Like, I feel like if someone who did those behaviors played this game, they'd be like, holy crap, is that how I'm making people feel?
I think the only problem with that is you'd need those people to think is the problem.
Maybe so.
Well, and I think one part that I was really struck by, and the thing I've been thinking a lot about with Boyfriend Dungeon, here as we're kind of getting closer to TVGP's top 10 discussions, is I really like that this is a game that is, I think, correctly billed as a dating sim, that you don't have to date anyone in. Like, you can keep all of these relationships purely platonic, and the game is never like, ugh, you didn't even pick anyone. The game's like, yeah, man, cool. That's up to you. Whatever.
Okay. That I can accept. I also like the fact that it probably has the best platonic relationship in any dating sim ever, period.
Are you talking about the cat?
Of course I'm talking about the cat, too.
Yeah.
I have to be talking about the cat.
I think I would agree that this sits at number 2. I think Boyfriend Dungeon is really great. I wish its controls were a little bit snappier. I think that will probably be one of my biggest complaints about this game. I really like the length, largely because I want more games for broader audiences that allow people to like get in and get out. Because I'm trying to get out of the idea that everybody plays games like me, which is like, yeah, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to play this for a couple hours right now. It's like, no, they might sit down for 30 minutes a week and play through Boyfriend Dungeon, you know, and I think this will be a good experience. But I think, I don't, for whatever reason, I'm not entirely sure I would fight to have this over Astroneer.
Okay. I will accept number 2 on it, if no one else wants to. It's granted, I'm a Kickstarter backer on this game, so I'm probably.
I see. Now I know what it is.
Moon's got the receipts.
Double agents all over again.
Yeah. Honestly, like, so Boyfriend Dungeon just has like a certain amount, like really both Boyfriend and Astroneer have like a large amount of whimsy, I feel like, in them.
Yeah, a lot of charm to them.
Boyfriend Dungeon feels like a game that was, obviously it was not made for a white cis male, but it feels made for me or really anyone, you know. I really enjoyed the gameplay. Like, not all the weapons were great, you know, and it doesn't have like, it's probably not going to inspire the Hades level of like every weapon is actually great to the right player.
Right.
That's legitimately my 2 biggest complaints about this. Is I think 3 dungeons is a little bit too short. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking away from Boston's points. Like 3 dungeons is fine for a quick experience, and I did kind of beat this in like a week and change, which is pretty good. But for me, it's the variety of weapons is fine. It's the fact that the combat never really changes, and it's super simple the whole way through. Which, again, for somebody else, that might be fine. That might be perfect for somebody else to play. And with 3 dungeons, that's probably the perfect target market. Is combat's not too complex and the right amount of dungeons to make it a smaller, bite-sized experience. Great. For me, having literally last year played Hades for Wii Roguelike and everything else that's going on, it's just like I just want that little bit more depth in the combat.
Right.
Just a little bit.
And before anyone...
They did delay this game like a year, by the way. Like,
and I was going to bring up, too, that before anyone sort of takes umbrage with how we're talking about this game, they are saying that they're going to expand it. They are going to put in more dungeons and characters and stuff. We're not judging it based on that, because as of this recording, that stuff hasn't come out. So if they add another dungeon and they add 2 or 3 more characters or whatever, will that fundamentally change the game? Not entirely sure, but we're sort of judging the launch package that we have.
And also, like for me, I am one of those people that I like the simplicity of it. I like the length. I like the writing, and I like the cheesy pop music they did for it. So like, it's kind of the perfect package. Like, when I think about playing Boyfriend Dungeon again, I think, oh, this is awesome. I can make it through in 10 hours and have a pleasant experience, and maybe I'll concentrate on smooching one of the other characters that I didn't do last time, you know.
Well, and for me too, I as someone who really likes visual novels and especially dating sims, number one, we never get dating sims over here, which sucks. And number 2, other than like this and Dream Daddy, no Western devs really make dating sims. Otome games, I think, are a little bit separate from this conversation. So it's kind of nice to see a dating sim that's kind of modern and Western come out over here that I think handles the matter appropriately, instead of either being like super pervy or being kind of weird about the whole thing.
Yeah. And for the record, we're not saying this is a bad game, by the way.
No, Boyfriend Dungeon is great.
Also,
like
Moon, we're arguing over whether it should be number 2 or number 1 on our Game of the Year list.
Like Musum said, like, it's very much a game made for me, where it's like Shin Megami Tensei's Overworld plus a loot-based hack and slash game plus a visual novel dating sim with incredible art and music. It's like, yep, great, cool. That's checked a lot of boxes for this guy.
Yeah. Also, to be clear, if they made like some fabled 80-hour version of this someday, like I'd be 100% in on that
Oh,
too.
for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Boyfriend Dungeon 2, Boyfriend Harder.
Yeah. Boyfriend Dungeon Plus. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so it sounds like this is kind of sitting at our number 2 slot here. I don't really hear any huge arguments for it sitting below Life is Strange.
No,
Yeah.
I think Life is Strange 2 is good, but it's too real. It's too real this year.
Yeah, it's a little. Yeah. Ah, boy. All right. Here's our last two hot bangers here. Vampire the Masquerade: Coteries of New York.
Man.
Talk about wasted potential, man.
Yeah. Like this one's
So
this is such a weird game where like 75% of it you think you're going to play this thing, and then it just pulls the rug out and says, "Nah, these games are kind of."
Yeah, talk about somehow a sprint where, like Moon's comment earlier about like one of them is sprint and one's a marathon, doesn't make it. This is a sprint that somehow face plants and skids across the finish line, like bloodied and bruised.
Yeah. Like I want to replay it till I think about those last few days in the game, and then I don't.
That's the worst thing is I just don't.
I keep looking at on one of my wish lists. I have the whatever the werewolf one is, like Werewolf Apocalypse, the game that essentially looks like the game we thought this was going to be. I keep looking and I'd be like, oh man, look at it. It even has a character sheet. Ooh, this is the good stuff. I don't know. This is pretty. Can second from the bottom for me. Go ahead.
It's
okay. You think second from bottom, Boston?
I don't think it's worse than Bard's Tale. I think Coteries of New York. We talked about it. I think the writing is fairly solid. I think the like hunger system is interesting, though I never really dealt with the negatives of it. I think the look of it is really cool. I think some of the animated background stuff they did was kind of novel. That's not something I've seen in a lot of visual novels. It's just like
that intended pun, by the way.
That's true. Yeah. I just think like it taking a bazooka to both of its feet in like the final 30 minutes of this game is just
dude. It was trying
baffling.
to rocket jump. It was trying to rocket jump. You can't take that away from it.
Yeah, it was trying to rocket jump and like exploded itself. Like it's such a great game up until, and let's be honest, it's been a long time since we have played a game that has just destroyed itself in the last moments to kind of ruin the entire thing for itself. Most games don't do that now. And like, this game really did it.
So I was definitely one of the people in Mass Effect 3 who was complaining about the ending on Twitter. I have replayed Mass Effect 3 numerous times. I can enjoy that game. I like that game. I can deal with it. The ending to this game like ruins the game so much worse than any like Mass Effect 3 was essentially a non-ending like issue, right?
Right.
This game basically comes back and says, nah, this choice, like your words in the podcast have stuck with me, Boston. Like, I don't remember exactly what you said, but it basically amounted to the game at the end says all this choice stuff is stupid. Vampire Masquerade's kind of cheesy, and we're ending it here. Like, I've never experienced a game that just insulted itself and ended prematurely at the end. Like, if this was the first in like a Telltale series,
for sure.
Like, there might be a different conversation, but this as a single entity is...
And not even insulting. The DLC carries over from this. The DLC for this game is just like, you're someone else somewhere else. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like, part of the part that frustrates me is largely the conversation around the ending of Mass Effect 3 was a lot of game designers talking about the triangle or the diamond when creating games like this, where it starts with, the game starts at the point of one end of the diamond where your choices don't really matter and they don't really affect the game too much because you're just starting. And as the diamond fans out, more of your choices impact on more stuff, largely small things in the game, sometimes big things where it's like, this character lives, this character dies, stuff like that. And then the ending kind of comes back to the point where it's like, you get one or two endings, maybe some of your choices are going to reflect, but we can't make 200 different endings. That's just not going to be possible. And that was my expectation going into this, is, yeah, I'm going to make a bunch of choices that will largely influence my ending, because this isn't a 3D game, this is a visual novel. Like, typically visual novels, you have your choices really do matter in the end, because that is the game, are your choices. And for this game to just be like, nah, never mind, it's just like, is such a slap in the face for a game whose gameplay is choices.
So
you really feel like you're starting to like make a heist team too, which just like doubly disappoints it for me. Like,
dude, perfect analogy for us non-visual novel fans in here. Thank you for the inspiration here, Muson. This is Fast Five if the movie ends when the money gets taken to the police station.
God. Yep, where it's like, wait, what about my team doing the heist? I'm like, nah, never mind.
They don't get
Credits.
the team together. They don't do the safe chase.
Yep.
None of the cool stuff happens.
Yep.
It's just a 45-minute. Oops, now we're screwed.
The original ending to Dodgeball.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything here for this movie in question. But if you're a patron, a episode recently released of Critical Misses where we talked about 2019's Glass. This feels very much like the ending to Glass, where it's like, yeah, we're doing the I'm sorry you did what? Like, it just feels like it's this lead up and everything's going great, and then it just falls off a cliff where you're like, I didn't like that. That ruined a lot of what I just enjoyed.
You know, if we had an award for most disappointing, like, gaming experience of the year, like, this would definitely win it. Like,
yeah,
the hard part is this. Gosh, you know, we've talked about it so much. Whereas before, like, I was thinking of some of the positive aspects. I'm like, well, maybe we could argue this above Signs or Metro, but now I feel like we're arguing, is this worse than Bard's Tale 2004?
For sure.
I think the question, like, Boston's already said he's fine with second from bottom. That's where his instinct said.
That's where my knee jerk is, yeah.
Mine was either there or above Signs, but having talked about it, you guys are right. Like, this is all sizzle, no steak. Like, this game. And honestly, I think as the biggest proponent for Bard's Tale in the room, I think Musum needs to decide, does this go bottom or does this go above Bard's Tale?
Your analogy of all sizzle no steak, just this is the perfect analogy of, like, you know, when you get like a fajita platter and you can see it steaming and sizzling as they walk across the restaurant coming to you, and if you imagine like you ordering a steak and it's sizzling and you're like, everybody else is having steak, and they come and they put down like a piece of moldy carrot and they're like, here you go. It's like, wait, where's my steak? Like, it's just, there's so much cool in this game, and the reason why I keep talking about it is I'm so angry that this game about choices just throws it away at the end when it was looking like a really cool game all the way up until there.
I think that's the hard part, is like Bard's Tale 2004, I'm so indifferent to. Like,
it wears itself on its skin as well.
Yeah,
like Bard's Tale, straight from the get-go, is just like, we're going to make filthy jokes, we're going to make inappropriate jokes. This is a 2004 game, just get used to it.
Yeah. Like, if we're talking about games I'd rather play the first 3/4 of Vampire more than Bard's Tale.
Yeah.
Like, Bard's Tale's a little sexist in places, like, which gosh, is it ever?
It's extremely problematic, but that's also what happens when you're looking at a game that was designed to be edgy from 17 years ago.
Yeah, like, it's very much of its time.
But from the start of Bard's Tale, like, it does not change its tune. It is that thing through the entire way. Whereas Coteries of New York, like, gives you hope.
And then it snatches it away.
that is my question here. What is worse? To be told what it is, to be told you're going to eat crap and then eat crap, or to be told you're going to eat steak and then get a moldy piece of carrot?
Right.
What is worse?
I feel like with that argument, it's the bottom of the list, honestly. Like, which I
would be okay with that.
Part of me still wants to put it above Bard's Tale, but like,
dude, you are the biggest proponents, so you tell us, is it going bottom or second to bottom?
It's Bard's Tale just hasn't been what it was in the 80s, unfortunately. Like, neither of the new games, in my opinion, are that great for it. Okay, so
the rubber meets the road here. Yeah,
I would love. Well, no, I wouldn't. That's the hard part. Is like I would love to play the first 75% of Coteries of New York again and explore that, but also I wouldn't because the game clearly dislikes that idea of me doing that.
Up until the point where the game is like, oh, you're awake in the back of a van in this park. You got kidnapped suddenly. It's just like, wait, what? Wait, what's happening? What's happening? Like up until that point, like I would really love to see these developers give it another shot. If they could get a game together that's just like this, that nails the ending, it would be incredible.
Yeah. It's I guess you can put it on the last. Like, it feels dirty doing it as Bard's Tale. So...
I mean...
Okay, but does it feel as dirty as Bard's Tale tries to be?
That's true.
Gosh, like, I feel like I'm...
Dude, there's no... Bard's Tale.
Yeah, there's no good choice here, is the tough part. I can put it above Bard's Tale, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're both at the bottom of the list, so, like... I feel like
of that what you will.
Yeah. All right, and our final game for the year, Lake. 2021's Lake. Another game we surprisingly did not enjoy.
Okay. I'm going to throw something out. It's my instinct.
Okay, I like it.
You guys can tell me whether or not you think I'm completely wrong or not. Lake goes above Bard's Tale and stops right there.
Oh.
Because
Go ahead.
I hate Bard's Tale, and I do, generally speaking. It has some very interesting things going on with it, but I cannot get past the fact that it's a game that was made in 2004, and the writing is, I almost swore, atrocious for modern-day society.
Right.
Yeah. I can kind of forgive Coteries of New York for all that build, and then who knows, maybe just not having the budget to see it all the way through.
Sure, it face planted the landing.
Yeah, not getting the big show at the end. All tease, no tickle. Today is apparently an excellent analogy day for me.
Yes.
I've just realized.
Yep.
I cannot get past so much in Lake. And I don't think it's a bad game inherently. I think it is fine. But I think the problem with being fine is it needs to go in the bottom 4, and for me it goes below VTM.
Well, I think Musum, last month you put it the best with this, which is it's just the death of 1,000 cuts. Like, nothing is inherently bad except for allegedly the performance in the Xbox One version, which sounds truly terrible. But like every facet of the game has something wrong with it that isn't minor, but it isn't major. It's just all kind of fine to not great, and all of that added up is just sort of like, yeah, I mean, you're the game you purported to be, but it's just kind of not great.
You know, it's funny, when we started this month's podcast, like in my mind, I'm like, man, Lake is definitely number 10. And the more we've talked about Coteries of New York and Bard's Tale, the more I think I'm with you, Moon. You said above Bard's Tale, below Coteries of New York, because if you
at least Coteries has that thing, has that X factor.
Yeah, it's got stuff to it. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's just, you know, a small case X, not a big case X, so it doesn't make it on the TV show for legal reasons.
Right.
Like if you put all 3 games, Coteries of New York, Bard's Tale, and Lake, in a room with me, and then put a gun to my head and told me I had to replay one of them, I would replay Coteries of New York.
Oh, 10 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, every single time.
And Lake doesn't have the really bad sexism of Bard's Tale, whereas
Right.
like I guess it's unfortunate because like Bard's Tale is fully playable, like the combat is serviceable.
They did a good job, like, kind of bringing it up, remastering it. Like, they did a good job. It just, it is still an edgy game from 2004.
Yeah, like I still enjoy the you killed the wolf and all this stuff found out of it, and like the narrator's dismay on it.
Yeah, it has some genuinely funny moments in it.
It does, yeah.
But it just does not work as a 20-hour game or whatever it is. And Lake is I severely dislike Lake, but there are just too many things wrong with it. And like even putting my technical issues I had with Xbox One aside, like it's just not a fully
there's fast travel and auto drive. I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm probably saying, if that nails this home anymore,
probably still wouldn't have resolved the issues. Yeah.
I think it goes above Bard's Tale and below Coteries.
I'm okay with that because I think you're right. I think Coteries does have some cool stuff to it, even if it doesn't stick the landing, and Lake is fine, and it kind of doesn't stick any point. Like nothing about it is really great. Oh boy. All right, well, let's recap our list here from number 11 to number 1. Bard's Tale 2004, Lake, Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York, Signs of the Sojourner, Metro 2033, Tiny Metal, Coffee Talk, Late Shift, and our top 3, Life is Strange 2, Boyfriend Dungeon, and at number 1, Astroneer. Congratulations, Astroneer. You're still real good.
Yep.
And I think still on Game Pass.
Year 2021.
Yeah, Game Club of the Year 2021. That's you, big guy.
Dude, can we just do a little retrospective here and talk about how great our top 3s have been for the past, 3 years?
Yeah, I was just looking over here on the... Let's look at 2020 with Stardew Valley at number 3, Eichenfell at 2, and Return of the Obra Dinn, which... Go play that and go play The Forgotten City if you haven't played either one of those. And then 2019 was Florence, Orwell, Keeping an Eye on You, and Super Hot. So had some bangers here in the top couple lists here.
See, for me, you can tell how depressed we've gotten over the time because I think if we played Orwell, Keeping an Eye on You this year, it wouldn't make the top 3.
Yeah, it would have been like, man, this is too. I couldn't finish this one.
Real.
Yeah, this is a little too close to home. Yeah, but yeah, that's our list for Game Club of the Year 2021. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you for our first game of 2022 next month. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Boston.
Bye.